Hello and welcome back to the channel, folks. The Astragoth Iron Hand campaign. I just about said, Drazowith, because he's with us now. But anyway, yeah, let's jump in. I'm going to talk through the initial loading screens that I usually cut out just to say a few things. Which is number one, I'm disappointed in you all. I am truly and totally disappointed. You might be like, Air, what? He's disappointed in us? What? Yes, I am disappointed. On the last episode, I gave you all perfectly good permission to get into the comments and once again make fun of my ugly mug. And I had a comment that mentioned that they enjoyed the ugly mug comments, but no one took the opportunity to make fun of me. So, you know, a little disappointing. Although maybe that should be a good thing, is that I asked the internet to make fun of me, and they did not. So perhaps that's maybe a sign that you all are just better than the internet in general. And rather than me disappointing, maybe I should be happy. In any case, thank you all for watching the last episode. Thank you for the comments. I do appreciate it. We had some good ones. I will get to some of those comments here shortly, and we're going to continue. I thought we already fought this. Maybe my autosave, like I hit save when I was done, but maybe it just went to autosave. I don't know. Maybe this is just very similar to what we fought recently against the Skaven. I just am not 100% certain. I'm actually going to run at these guys from this direction. I'll keep one out here to keep someone from charge. Well, I got my Lord to prevent the charges. Put it like right there. Okay, so let's get this battle started. It is going to be quick and brutal, which is totally fine with me. I'm going to target down their key missile units. Let's get into melee over here. Come after these units, come collapsing in. It looks like we've already got really good effect on target with our missiles. The Skaven leader is already routing. Let's come after their trashy assassin here. I'm going to debuff him with some magic. And of course everything is already completely routed. I'm going to assassinate, or in this case rat-assassinate, their leader who is attempting to come back from routing. We're going to remind him that he is, in fact, a Skaven, and you never really stop routing as a Skaven. So there you go. Very quick and easy, decisive. Let's end that one and head back to the campaign map. And I will go get a couple of those comments that I mentioned. Peter says at 12 minutes, that building reduced raw materials consumed, not increased the output as you thought. I don't know if that would still be worth it, though. Okay, so I must have misread something on the building. Thank you for correcting me. Ian says, I think there's a skill on Drazowith that gives plus 10% income from towers. This could be a big help to your income. Thank you. Appreciate it. I will take a look at that and see. I do need to check out some of his skills because I know he has some different ones to what we were used to. Inductive Grunt, appreciate you being such a long-time viewer, commenter. Not the only one, but of course just making sure to give you a nice call out here. He says, nice episode, nothing too serious, just some casual fun crushing rats and gobos. Indeed, it was fun. I enjoy crushing both of those things. Not much labor, but I'll go ahead and add it. He says, be sure to add plenty more Kadai units into Drazowith's army to take advantage of his buff for them. Should help a lot with melee combat, especially with Kadai destroyers for massive power and destructive. Yeah, I definitely want to get some destroyers on the field. I feel like it is a centerpiece unit that we haven't really gotten to highlight yet that I would definitely like to get in here. Of course, Brian says, hey, your videos keep me engaged even though I can't play my campaign for the next couple of weeks. Thank you. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Appreciate that, and I hope that you'll be able to get back on it and get some time in as you see fit. And hope you're well. Thank you. Alric says, great jump scare, horror entertainment, more mic bumps, please. Yeah, I'm bad at that. In fact, I'm always having to check on my mic. Hopefully I remember to make sure I haven't bumped it, because I have a HyperX mic that I've really liked recently. It's very simple, works very good. It has this really easy to use gain setting down on the bottom of it. And whenever I bump it, I usually bump that gain setting, which of course then can get all of my recordings off kilter. So I'm always having to check and make sure. All right, our convoy has encountered some rats in a tunnel. We have an opportunity to destroy them. We are absolutely going to destroy the rats and take the shortcut. So let's kill some Skaven of Clan Mutant here. Get a couple more of your comments, and we should have most all of them here. Steve says, I know I'm late, but it'd be funny if you added heroes to convoys named Rubber Duck and Pigpen. You know what? I'll try and remember that when we get back out to the campaign map. Thank you, Steve. DJ says, did you know that confederating through the tower gives you all the seats? I did. Someone had told me, I believe, on the last episode, and then thank you for the reminder here, and yes, you do get their lord. So it sounds like you were answering maybe the question I had, which was if a faction is destroyed, like one of our factions is, if I get into the tower and confederate them, do we still get their legendary lord? I think you were answering yes to that. I hope that's the case. I'm going to go check on that soon enough once we have enough conclave influence to do so. Oh my gosh, this army is really quite powerful, although like the units are a little bit strange because we haven't gotten to pick them. You know, we just get whatever units come to us following a successful what do you call it, convoy. But it is a pretty impressive army nonetheless in terms of just raw power. Let's see, we got this one more ogre unit right there, so I think we've got everything set. That'll be a pretty standard formation. I've noticed that all of my units default into defensive. Is this just a Chaos Dwarf thing? I cannot find where to change this from. Can you all remind me like where that's changed from? Maybe it's in like a game setting. I couldn't find it the last time I looked. I don't really want all my units in defensive. I like the missile units to be in a defensive stance, just generally speaking. But I don't necessarily want all my units in that defensive stance. Okay, what are we good against here? It says we're good against large. Let's target that Hell Pit Abomination with our Soul Grinder of Slaanesh. There's actually a little bit of terrain working against me here with the Blunderbuss, but yeah, it's actually really poor terrain for the Blunderbuss. I'm going to back up because we are really not going to get appropriate shots at that angle. Should have checked that terrain prior to moving up to this point. I'm going to come, go ahead and maybe dive bomb into Flex melee damage dealt back to the attacker. Ooh, that's kind of cool. If I use this on myself and then attack here, drop a bombardment, by the way, right here. And we've got plenty more to come. Let's drop this bombardment. Let's get a little bit of support this way. We didn't let that other one actually go off all the way. Let's drop these bombardments. Alright. Oh man, our lord got absolutely smoked. Wow. I did not expect that. I must have missed something quite significant on the stat line. I don't know what he got absolutely cremated. Maybe it was the missiles or something nearby that got a hold of him. That would make a little bit of sense. Let's get out here and help out with some of these units on the flank. Giant can help out over there too. Just get in here. Is that Skaven Lord just like super... I don't think the Skaven Lord is particularly powerful. Either that, my Lord might just be kind of squishy. Yeah, he's just a little bit squishy. I overestimated him, and we were probably within range of those missiles at some point, which, you know, didn't probably help. Okay, let's keep swinging around and finishing this up. The Hell Pit Abomination's about to go down. The Skaven Lord got routed by a mammoth. I think I will finish up by shooting him. And we'll finish that dude off. I don't have a healing potion or anything here, unfortunately. Our Lord took a little bit of damage, but we got the job done. We got the job done. Let's, I didn't get a chance to use this breath attack. There was like so many different abilities that I could use. I couldn't possibly have gotten them all used in the course of that battle, but there we go. Alright, we could replenish, and probably should, because it's a convoy. Because you never know when you're going to need that. I don't think the like extra 60 labor is going to make a big difference. Our income continues to skyrocket here. We do need to pick up more labor, and to do so, we just need to keep winning, preferably large battles. Large battles will have a big impact on our labor pool. I'm going to pull up here into the Silver Road and cut off the Skaven advance through my territory there. And in the more northerly parts of my land, it looks like we have staved off the Greenskins. I no longer see their armies here. They're either hiding in an attempt to catch me, or they have given up on their objectives there. I'm going to take this army and start moving back towards the vampires. And then I have an army further south now to come and challenge the Skaven here, which just in time picked up Skaven Plague. It says only time may remedy this malady. Well, that's fantastic. I'm glad that for 4 turns my army's not going to be able to replenish thanks to some random plague. I really hate the plague making an army not be able to replenish. I would be okay with it if it was like 1 turn, maybe 2 max, and that'd be fine. The problem with the plagues for me that make an army where it can't replenish, and CA did improve on this, I believe, in some of their patches. They made it to where it wasn't quite so frequent. I didn't mean to do that. I actually meant to fight that, but we did not. We could sack this and pick up that labor we need. We'll get quite a bit of labor, honestly, if we just occupy it up. Let's just take this one on as... Well, our factory output's coming up. Let's take this one on as a factory. Yeah, we're not going to be able to replenish here, which really sucks, and it's going to go on for 4 turns, which means I actually have to pretty much retreat with this army. That's the reason why I hate it. So 4 turns means I'm going to have to come up here, take care of business. Now I have to move back, so essentially all it does is just slow down the pacing of the game. It makes it random and annoying. I would be fine if there was an option, for instance, like your army gets Skaven Plague, it's going to last for 4 turns, but if you have the money, you can buy the antidote or whatever, right? And that would make it to where it was only that turn, and then your army would be able to be healed. Like, that's still a bit arbitrary in the sense that it's kind of like CA at any point can just have that happen, and it's be like, okay, insert your money to avoid our bad outcome, which they do enough of in the game, and I'm not a huge fan of. But it would still be better than the current situation, which is I either mod it out entirely, or, which I do sometimes, I mod it out, like any... attrition due to plague. Sometimes I'll mod it out because I just hate it, because it ruins the pacing of the game. I am fine with it if they want to leave it in, if they give me ways to either lessen its significance, which sometimes there is whenever you have like things that reduce attrition due to certain reasons, or just give me some tools to deal with it, right? Are there retainers or whatever I can get from beating Skaven that make it to where I'm more immune to Skaven Plague? Are there, again, the money thing that I can try and buy my way out of it? Like, just give me some options, please, when it comes to dealing with long, arbitrary replenishment times. Well, look who it is. It is Tretch. We have caught him, and this is our attempt, or our chance to destroy him. Tretch is obscenely powerful. Remember, he's sitting on like a 50% ward save. Oh, it looks like he lost that. It's down to only 10% now. And he's only 10% physical resistance, but he's still sitting on a 40% missile resistance. Which means that basically 4 out of every 10 of our missiles are not going to do anything to him. And then 10% of the damage that he does take is negated. And another 10% if it's not magical damage. So he's still very powerful, and then on top of all that, you know, you get the 92 armor. He actually does have some pretty sick stats at the moment. But let's go ahead and take the opportunity to kill him. He deserves it. All right, folks, the battle's getting started, and I realize that I have a bit of a problem here, which is the rattling guns outrange me by a fairly significant margin. So I'm gonna have to back up and buy myself a little time and let my summons and bombardment abilities become available. That will allow me to deal with the rattling guns from range, and then that will allow my fire glaives to really take the damage to the Skaven. So I'll be backing up. I do have reinforcements coming. These are a long ways off here, and they're not really needed. I mean, yes, Tretch is a very powerful character at the moment. His army is just mostly garbage. Like, but other than him, the rattling guns and the single Doomflayer over here, his army is utter trash, and we should be able to deal with it rather easily. I'm going to, we have a lot of Dreadquake mortar uses. I'm going to kind of try and hit this rattling gun with it by spinning up. It's a very long spin up on that, and it may not hit. I was hoping for the best there. I guess I could have put it in front of him, but I was worried they'd have a chance to run back here. We're going to miss, unfortunately. Yeah, just plain miss. Let's go ahead and throw this in here. Got a little bit of a hit. I'm going to throw another one in there. So I'm going to really ratchet up the bombardments. And let's actually, I'm going to let my infantry kind of keep... Oh boy, we just nuked that rattling gun. That was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Gorgeous. I'm gonna get after these slingers out here. With the Rattling gun is still firing at us, despite having taken a massive bombardment. I'm a little bit frustrated at that. It shouldn't really be alive for all intents and purposes. In fact, it's wavering. Let's go speed its exit from the battlefield. As my Lamasu there has an ability that'll get rid of that in a big hurry. Alright, so this leaves us now solely with Tretch. And I think the best option with him is just to try and bury him in armor-piercing infantry and be done with him. And whoever is fighting him, I'm going to give them a bit of a buff here. There's a few clan rats here. Again, nothing of any substantial significance. We're just going to have to kind of route and keep routing the garbage units back here. Since Tretch himself is going to be near unroutable, it's going to take us a little bit. We're going to have to be careful here. My leader could easily get pretty beat up by Tretch. He's very missile resistant, so I am going to try and get him with some melee damage. Stupid Rattling guns came back again already. They've rerouted the instant my unit turned towards them, so that's pretty hilarious, in fact. Let's get rid of this garbage here, too. They should have already routed. Alright, we're getting rid of all these. Let's pile in. Alright, now I'm going to pile in against Tretch. I'm going to turn this way, so as these units come back from routing, they'll get some unwanted attention from my missile units. Alright, yeah, Tretch is now pretty well buried up in some very tough units. Units that should... yeah, they're hitting him with armor sundering. So he's going to be taking a bit of a savaging here. Again, more of their units coming back from routing. It's kind of just more of an irritation than anything else. They're going to reroute the instant that I get within range of them. That Rattling gun is back for the third time. Drop over there. I don't know if it's actually going to hit, but I'll attempt it. Stay after these units. Tretch is pretty well getting dumpstered, but he is putting up a good fight. He is anti-large, so he will get damage done against my Centaur Taruk here, so I may just pull out of that with him for a minute and let Tretch eat it. From all the infantry, we've rerouted and shattered all of their stuff back here, so that is over, and now Tretch has shattered as well. I do not want him escaping the battlefield again, so I'm going to take all of my Centaurs and run them down. Oh, whoops. Let's continue, yeah. Dadgummit, I keep clicking the wrong button. Get out of there. Alright, there we go. Alright, so I have all the Centaurs headed in, and we're gonna, like I said, run him down and destroy him. That way he'll be on cooldown for at least a couple of turns. I don't know if they still have a settlement. They might still have one settlement somewhere that I have not found. There's a bunch of scale settlements kind of to my west, maybe southwest a little. Those could be where Tretch's final settlement is, which is allowing him to come back again and again and again. Of course, he had previously owned some of my territory, which was helping him stick around too, but you'll notice that they just keep coming back with clan rats and maybe like one or two other units. Clearly, they don't have much infrastructure to recruit from, and I don't think that he's really got a lot of options. Interestingly enough, at level 40, I'm not seeing a bunch of regiments of renown from him, which is kind of typical from the AI, where they'll just really start loading in a ton of regiments of renown, which makes me wonder if the financial situation, despite all the buffs the AI gets, might be poor. Just look how difficult it is to kill him. This is also kind of a result of CA's refusal to kind of address this whole bouncing, bumping thing that goes on whenever units are routing. I say refusal. I don't know if this is a works as intended or doesn't work as intended. I really don't know what the case is, but my infantry should tear down some of his armor if they ever can land a hit on him. They have armor sundering attacks. They're on an automatic defense, though, which is why I want that done, because then they don't follow. Should see Tretch's armor. Does it effect not work on him? It may not work on him whenever he's routing. Yeah, there's armor sundering attacks for sure on my units. But his armor's not being sundered. Huh. Like I said, maybe it doesn't work whenever he's routing. That's a little bit wonky. Holy crap. It's in fast forward, it takes this long. CA, please. Like, just stop. This is obnoxious. He's getting knocked around by multiple units that are far more powerful. And it's utterly insane. There, he finally took some damage, it looked like. I thought I saw him get hit by the armor sundering there for a moment. Maybe my Dwarf Warriors just aren't landing any hits, which once again shows you kind of how obnoxious this bumping and not able to attack something when it's running, and then couple that with the melee defense buffs that the AI gets, and it kind of just gets a little bit obnoxious. That could be what it is that's causing it to take so long, right? Is that they're just bumping him around, and that also could explain why we're not seeing the armor sundering hit him very often. All right, well, we kicked Tretch's Craven Keister across the desert here, and I'm actually going to snag all that labor. That's actually pretty sweet. So I'm going to snag that. That should help adjust nicely. It boosted our average efficiency. We still have some newer settlements that are getting up to the level they need to be, and I'm going to allow them to continue that. I could pull a little bit of labor from a couple of these. I do want to leave a little extra in some. Let's set up something like that. Except that'll put us up to 95% efficiency. Okay. Awesome. Alright, so we've got the labor. Tretch was killed. We're going to wipe out his army. They've got Plague right now, too, which somehow Tretch got to escape there. That's actually infuriating because you all saw me specifically ensure that he was dead. So, not real happy about that. Picked up a little bit more labor. Things are looking good. We got some skill points here. We can finally get Unbridled Cruelty on this army, which is going to really improve the upkeep cost. So that is a big win, which means we can continue to put more units in these armies, which means that we get even more powerful. And it kind of just goes right down the line there. Let's do Murderous Charge. Awesome. All right, so we are ridding ourselves of some of the Skaven nuisance in this vicinity. This army might be able to reach these guys. I wonder if we can drive them back into our ambush. No, it just says we're going to have medium casualties. Assigned to a Hobgoblin. We don't have any Hobgoblin units, okay. Get out of here. No one likes you. Rat Catcher. That's pretty cool. We got the Rat Catcher ability there. I'm gonna push back over here and replenish. Alright. That is one of our convoys for a minute. I was like, what's that army doing up there? And I realized it was a convoy. Alright, so we are going to have to pull one of our armies back on the next turn and wait for 3 more turns before we can even begin to replenish it, and then that's going to take a turn or 2, so again, thank you, CA, for arbitrarily slowing down my campaign just so the rats can feel better about themselves. So here we go. I'm going to do a few building upgrades. I'm going to upgrade my trade output there. In fact, I'm going to upgrade this settlement. It's very expensive. Very expensive. But let's do it. We've got a lot of raw materials for anything that's just going to soak up raw materials, so I may want to go through and select, for instance, these buildings use raw materials for upgrades. Be a good time to pour some of that in. This building uses raw materials, and it's going to reduce the raw materials consumed by 15%, which is good because we got factories, so it's currently reducing it by 5%. Let's go ahead and run that, and then we will have used up our raw material. Put it to use, I say, not just used it up, but put it to use. Let's kind of continue to build our armaments. We don't have a lot of armaments right now, and I would like to have more. Alright, I don't think we have too much more to worry about. I'm actually going to move this army over here closer to Karak Ungor, Karak Raziak. The interior of my lands are probably fairly safe right now because we have allies surrounding at the moment. So I'm feeling relatively good about that. Yeah, I think we're good. Let's check for skill point updates. And not have any to divvy out right now. That is good to hear. We have an Armor of Destiny that we can put on Drazoath, so let's do that. It's a better armor for him. Nice. Okay. Let's end the turn. And dispatch a convoy before we do. Alright, so this convoy is not likely to accomplish anything significant, but we still want to be dispatching it anywhere we can. And the reason I say that is because they'll pick up units. So like right here, there's a quick mission. It's only 4 turns down here. It's the least dangerous mission for an only 8-unit army here. So I'm going to dispatch it and send them on their way. Hopefully they'll survive, and eventually, hopefully they'll all be big and strong like that 120 stack that we have out there. We've got 423 Conclave influence. We'll have enough to confederate that final faction on the next turn. We should probably go ahead and do that. And then we might be able to get the other lord as well, which I forget the name of at the moment. That shows you how well I'm doing. Man, I am ready for a weekend. I don't know about you all, but I am super stoked for the weekend, as I always am. It's nice for me, because I like to get outside, do things with the family. I'll go out on the lake in the kayaks with the family, or just go fishing. Took my boy to the river last week in the kayak. It was a lot of fun. We have property out in a rural area. It's just undeveloped property that I bought just to, hopefully maybe use one day. But in any case, that's a fun place to go to because we can go out there and explore and look around, let the dogs sniff around. And there's like a little spring down at the bottom of the school. There's a little cabin thing out there. It's not like in fantastic shape. Like there's no electricity or running water or anything, but it's pretty cool. Fun place to go out and look at. And I'm not joining a war against Cathay at the moment. But yeah, sometimes we get to go out there and I get to shoot skeet and other stuff like that. It's a good time. But yeah, man, I really have to get out on the weekends these days. I still love games. Like, I've loved games my whole life. But the older I get and the more I'm stuck in an office all day for like 8 or 9 hours a day, which is back because, all of these bad things happened during the pandemic. And I'm not going to get into that because I'm sure YouTube would take the opportunity to ban me if I accidentally say something that isn't in line with what someone wants. And that's not my intention here. So, and I don't mean anything by any of this, I'm just saying I'm only going to mention this briefly, but of all of the bad things that definitely happened and the ways that people were negatively impacted, and there were plenty of things, it seems like one of the cool things that happened was that many people found that there were folks who could not go into work because they wanted people to stay out of crowded areas unless it was an essential position. And in that case, a lot of corporate places like mine let people go and work at home. And what's interesting is that pretty much none of those companies had any real negative effect. In fact, a lot of these companies, like mine even, thrived during COVID because of the situation, and our work continued, and we did it for over 2 years. And then I think it is appropriate to some degree for some of us to be back in the office and working because we can train and we can communicate certain things better and easier in person. So I'm fine with that. But is there any reason for me to be there 5 days a week, all day long, like having to drive through? So for instance, when I commute on a day going to the office, I spend probably 40 minutes of windshield time, which is just a complete waste for me, and it's a complete waste for them. It burns fuel that I have to pay for. It puts me on the road and potential to get into an accident, which also puts someone else in potential to be in an accident. There's just no purpose for it, right? Not 5 days a week. But of course, that's the mindset they go to. Because why be flexible on something even when we've proved it out and it worked? So I don't know. It's been a little frustrating, but the whole reason I'm telling that story isn't to get into some big long-winded thing. I'm thankful for a job. Glad to have one. But at the same time, I'm frustrated because I miss that balance. I was getting a lot of balance whenever I was working at the house more. There was more sleep, there was less windshield time, there was more time with my family. It was easier for me to, at the end of the day, I'm already home, I don't have that windshield time, so I can just immediately head out with the family and do something outside. I had gotten healthier. There was a whole bunch of really cool benefits to it. And it's been a struggle for me to get used to again. I was used to it back in the day, but it's been particularly difficult trying to get used to it all over again, especially since I now know that there was a better way. We're just choosing not to use it. So it's been more than a little frustrating. But again, Not a huge issue. Not something I'm just going to go railing on and on about. But if some of you are wondering, like, I wonder why Air doesn't upload all the time, or like sometimes you'll have a couple of days where you can't, it's really probably just me getting really tired and burned out, you know, from getting used to this routine again. I'll get right back to the videos just as quick as I can every time. I'm not planning on leaving you all. Anyway, let's continue this. So yeah, so I'm not looking for pity or like anything else like that. It's something that I just need to deal with, and it's really probably not even that big of a deal, but you know, we all have things that we feel like we're fighting against. That's one of the things that I just can't seem to get my body used to, is getting back into that. But here we go. That also might just be a consequence of me getting old too. I don't know, which is definitely happening. Let's see. We're getting attacked at Bone Gulch by Clan Rictus, and whatever little remnants they have are not good enough to do anything to us. So let's take care of that. And it looks like we have a settlement garrison defending against Crooked Moon at the Forest of Gloom, stating that we will win. It is quite possible that they have more troops behind this army. I can imagine we will win. They do have an Ragnarok, and that's not a catch web. It's just up on a squig. So we also have these Chaos Warriors there. It's very tough units too to join us. So I'm going to go ahead and just take the auto-resolve. We might have been able to do that better ourselves. And they might have another army right behind it they're going to follow up with. So that could end up being a mistake, but we'll see. I'm feeling fairly confident it won't. Forest of Gloom is a habitable climate for us, and my army should replenish relatively quick and continue to be powerful, though I do believe in places like this that we don't necessarily get walls anymore, which might be part of the reason why the AI was able to do a little better against us there. Melee attack and weapon strength for 5 turns. Ooh. Be kind of fun. Let's do that. So this convoy is going to pick up sharper axes for 5 turns. I was hoping that was... Oh, yay! Clan Rictus is gone for good. That was their last suicidal effort to get things done. Alright, so I brought this character back. And I think I was intent on having him... Yeah, he needs to join this army. Or either that or he just came back from convalescing as well. I don't know which one it was. I think he was the one I was moving back from the Southern Badlands. Alright, so there's no Skaven to deal with down here at the moment. I bet the Skaven are in charge of this settlement down here. I'm going to head into the Fortress of Vorag. And maybe do some recruiting here as well. Get these armies stacked up a little. So we've got a couple of units of Kadai. And I cannot recruit any additional at the moment. Oh, let's head to our tower real quick. And let's take care of confederating this last one. So we now control almost every seat in the tower. After one more turn, we can control the entire Tower of Zharr. I don't know if we get any cool rewards for that or not. It'd be neat if we did. For like, I mean, not that it hasn't already made me powerful enough. Look at me, how greedy I am. I'm like, oh, more rewards, CA, give me more. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. This is the army that needs to replenish, so I think I'm just going to head it back to Crookback Mountain. Let it convalesce there, and then we'll push back over to Black Iron Mine. Let's get some basic buildings, but we very well could lose this, but I'm not terribly worried if we do. Alright, Squighorn is back in our control, and this army is now ready to go on the offensive with Astragoth. So I'm going to head under mountain to Caragdron here and push some fight against the Skaven. I'm not feeling as much pressure, at least at the moment, from the Crooked Moon characters there. I'm going to go ahead and begin the process of improving my defenses. Okay. So we've started up that process. This army can now continue its push towards the remainder of Azag's faction, which we need to wipe out before they try and attack us again. So I'm going to continue to push there. I'm a little worried about this army taking on some really tough Vampire Counts armies, because in the end we are just goblins. Now they are immune to psychology, so that helps, but still, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. There is some concern in my head about that fight, potentially, that I don't feel 100% confident in. But, you know, maybe I'm underestimating the capability of my forces. Alright, so we're making... I kind of want to have some building improvements moving pretty much all the time. We haven't moved this lord, but that's okay. I'm not really too concerned about it. Or that, or the outpost. I do want to dispatch convoys, so let's see what's available. Got our monster commander returning to the capital, so we just have our sharpshooter here. I don't think there's any easy missions nearby, so I'm going to wait, actually, to dispatch another convoy. I'm not dying for convoys at the moment, so I'll be alright there. Let's end our turn. What campaigns are you all playing right now, if any? Any that you're excited for? What kind of DLC are you hoping comes to this game eventually? I've seen a lot of speculation coming from like Great Book of Grudges and others about what could also come to the game. I'm not sure what else will come to this game, like in terms of likelihood. I look at a faction like Grand Cathay and Kislev, and it makes me really hopeful that we could see End or Koresh or Nippon or any of these other factions potentially come, but at the same time, CA acted like that may not happen. So I'm not 100% sure, you know, what we'll get as far as new races. I think obviously Kislev, Cathay, Ogres, and all of the demon factions need a whole lot of units as far as DLC and lords, and I think we'll see that for sure. So that's kind of ones that I'm expecting to see, right, is that we'll see those units get fully fleshed out to kind of be on par with their counterparts from the other games. So I'm definitely expecting that. Let's see, where's our Kadai? Ooh, it's expensive to get more destroyers. Alright, we'll go ahead and get a couple more of each. And let's get in here and put some more of those Kadai. What's the upkeep cost on this thing? 248. Only 169 for the Fireborn, which is not too bad. Let's go ahead and grab another of each, and let's check at the skill points here, as someone mentioned. So skills, Years of Exile, Wind of Magic, cost for flames, Ashen, recovery type. So this one is going to improve our Kadai. It's going to give them less armament cost for increasing capacity, extra weapon strength, physical resist. Yeah, right here, this income from cities. So the greed of Asgore is definitely something we should work on with Drazhoath as we get him more skill points in the future. We are definitely running a little low on available units to recruit globally. We have some options, so we're not out of options by any means, but I'm just kind of looking into them. One person mentioned that they want to see an Infernal Ironsworn as well, and I can do that. I'm not going to pay for a whole bunch of these right now, but let's throw one in. So we'll throw that Infernal Ironsworn in there, and then as far as this army goes, I wonder if I should just kind of touch it up with some of these sneaky gets, or maybe standard Hobgoblin. I don't know, like just kind of Wolf Rider bows. I mean, there's some fun stuff we could put in here to just kind of add a couple more units, give this army a little more oomph. We could put another Blunderbuss in there. Maybe a couple of sneak gets. There, that'll make that army a little larger. Does that one not have any artillery either? It does not. It really needs artillery. And artillery is kind of short in supply right now because we need more armaments. So yeah, I'm going to have to definitely get a hold of more armaments. Look at this. Here comes Backbiter and Skaven. Yeah, this is another reason why it's irritating to have this forever plague kind of stuff come and bother you, because it just slows down the entire pace of the game, in my opinion. And it's very arbitrary, very annoying. just continue our research. We have a Lord Not Moved, which is Astragoth, and I would love to go ahead and hit Carag. There's an insignificant Skaven infestation we're still dealing with here. They have now been dealt with. And I'm going to go ahead and occupy as a factory. I'm going to try and balance in factories and... What do we got here as far as trade good? Timber, which further increases armament output and gives us extra. So that is actually a very sweet building for here, but we can't get it till tier 3. So let's go ahead and set up that tier 3 upgrade, build some defenses, then we will take care of that. There are Skaven nearby, and we're going to have to deal with him. Let's move towards the edge of our territory. The vampires do have a large army at Waldenhof. Not entirely surprised here. The vampires are going to be a fairly strong faction. Look at this. So, more greenskins in the vicinity, so I'm not worried about Astragoth's army, though. He can hold his own. He can definitely hold his own. Alright. Well, I think that's about all the time I'm going to have for this episode. We've got some more of our convoys available. These are the ones just making quick trips here. This one's almost complete. This one, turns remaining. So that one's 8 more turns. There might be one of the short missions available here. Let's add this master and see if we can get him on to one of our, yeah, like down in the Great Hall of Greasus. Well, that's going to use armaments I don't really have. Let's head to the... Wow, everybody wants armaments at the moment. Like, almost everything's for armaments. This is a longer trip, but part of it is fairly safe. Let's just head up there. So let's dispatch that. Okay. You have some unassigned skill points we did not hit this time. Looks like only this one. And I just kind of keep working on bipod, dig in, skirmish tactics. Alright, good stuff here, good stuff. Alright, that's going to be the end of another turn. I think we've been, again, relatively successful here. We certainly didn't give any territory, and we're kind of on the offensive now, I would say, at least for the moment. Knock on wood, hopefully it stays that way. So, again, we are moving out and pushing into some enemies. And we've got the armies to do so. We have the money, so we're going to be expanding continually like we are with Drazueth's army. I've got other armies that we're going to expand. Skarsnik is now here. And it says he's going to win this. He does have 3 Arachnarok spiders. That is a significant threat. I also do not have units that are immune to psychology, so there is a fairly substantial chance that our army routes en masse to those gigantic spiders. However, what I'll do is I will save this for the next episode, and we'll just see what happens. I will attempt to win it. It is possible that we could. We've got a very sturdy backbone of infantry here. They are not, unfortunately, getting some of the buffs that our recruited units get, and that may be why we're going to struggle here. But we do have these blunderbuss. These 2 blunderbuss could cut down a substantial chunk of those Arachnarok spiders, so if my line could hold on long enough, it is something we might be able to pull off. We will see. Because the rest of the greenskin units outside of those Arachnaroks are not terribly concerning to me. Though these Skulkers are going to hit a little harder than it looks like. So we'll see. And they've all been upgraded, of course. Some of them have perfect vigor. These guys have the big bonus versus infantry. So they are going to be a little dangerous. Those scrap upgrades are not to be underestimated. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I'll see you all soon with some more action in Total War Warhammer 3.